What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today is going to be another EDC walk and talk video. I thought for today's walk and talk video, I would bring out a knife that actually has walk and talk. What do you think about that? This is the Tactile Knife Bear slip joint, made in the USA. It does have nice ribbing here, and this one is in Magna Cut. Haven't done too much cutting with this one, to be honest with you guys. I don't typically go for the slip joint first. Not intentional, but I do intend to spend some more time with it, do some more cutting with it, and see how Tactile Knife Company's Magna Cut is treated, how long it holds up, and how it sharpens and everything like that. So today I wanted to kind of talk about content creators. So I recently have seen conversations and read things on YouTube where content creators who have larger channels are getting a little irritated, it sounded like, with new content creators coming out, new channels coming up, feeling like the market is flooded. And that kind of confused me a little bit because I'm really not sure what it is. I don't know, maybe if they're threatened, if they think that their viewers are going to be taken away by new channels. And if that's the case, it almost makes me think they don't really understand why people watch YouTube. If you're a YouTuber and you're a viewer, I feel like you try to find as much of your niche as you can, whether you're into RC vehicles, whether you're into mountain biking, whether you're into car mods, or just listening to reviewers who test drive cars every year as they come out. I really have so many channels that come up in my feed. It's kind of ridiculous, but I like it because I get to see what other people are reviewing, what they're looking at, what they're doing, and seeing if there's any way that I can institute that into my own content if I like it, or if I think that it's going to be something that's enjoyable. And I use my enjoyment of their content to determine that. And adversely, if there's things that they're doing that I don't like, I'm not really big on teasing or picking on my viewers. Just not my personality. I respect and appreciate the feedback. Of course, if you're an ass, well, stop watching. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, we're all human beings out here and into the same niche, the same community. We're in the same community. I don't understand why you feel like you need to be a jerk about someone's content or anything like that. Now, I can understand the whole US and China thing, but I really just choose to ignore that. That's not something I want to be drawn into or debate. It is what it is. People are going to spend their money where they want to spend them. I know that they consider YouTube content creators influencers, but I don't know that you're going to necessarily influence someone one way or the other where to spend their money. I can tell you buy US whenever you can, because it's great to support local whenever you can if you're in the US, but not everyone in the US is watching content like this. There are other viewers in other countries that are watching this that doesn't really affect. If you say buy US and they're in Italy, it makes no sense to someone that's watching it from Italy or anywhere else in the country, right? So I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. That's just not really my thing. I do personally try to make sure that I throw some US knives out there because I would love to be able to influence, even if it's one person, to buy a USA made blade if it is a well done blade. I'm not out here saying buy one if it's complete garbage or junk, or you're not getting your money's worth out of what you're getting. And the build quality on most, especially like the ProTech and the Bear, are phenomenal. And the case Kinsua is really quite a good example for the money that you're getting from a US manufacturer in their first attempt to make folders like these. They have two now. I think the other is the Marilla. I'm not 100% sure, but I do need to check that one out as well. But I can confidently recommend it because I was able to change the angle of the edge a little bit and strop it up to be a little bit more razor sharp. And it performs really well. I mean, it is a thicker geometry, so you're going to feel the resistance. It's not going to feel as slicey, But man, the S35 is pretty well treated. It goes through pretty well, as you can see here, with no issues whatsoever. So even with that thicker geometry, all it's causing it to do is kind of fold over and curve the cut. But when I take this to cardboard, oh man, do I even have a piece around here? Hold on one second, let me see. I know I'm getting a little sidetracked from what I was starting out with, but hold on for 1 second, let me see. Just would love to show you guys this and why I say I can safely and confidently recommend it. So, you know, we'll go into the bin here, but look at that bite. I mean, it just destroys cardboard. So, I mean, if Case can continue to do this, this is going to be really awesome to have another well-made, affordable U.S. manufacturer out here making a very interesting product. But back to what I was saying about the content creator, right? It just kind of blows my mind. So recently, at the time of this video, Jared Neves already at 120,000 subscribers. 120,000. He went from like 40 to 120,000 in like, I don't know, a couple of months' time. Let me tell you why that's a good thing for this community. The sooner we can get content creators into the millions, and the sooner we can reach out to folks that are out there Googling and getting a YouTube result of a good budget knife or an affordable budget knife, the sooner we can bring awareness to folks of where to spend their money. They don't always have to spend $115, $140. There's other good knives out there that can be recommended, like the Buck 110 for 28 bucks. That's a USA made knife that is very well made. There's also Civivi. You would want them to get the Civivi as opposed to going to Walmart and getting the Ozark trail knife. You know, you're not getting as good a quality steel as you're going to get on a Civivi. You could get, you know, 14C28N. You can bring awareness of D2. Like, it's going to be tough to sharpen. Keep that in mind. It'll hold an edge forever. Like, it's great to bring educational aspects to the larger masses. The more people that get into the community, the more people that these content creators reach, the more we're going to be able to have consumers come into our market, the more we're going to be able to buy product from manufacturers, the more employees they're going to be able to hire to produce the product, and it's going to grow, and it's a benefit for everyone. So I never understand why people feel threatened, if that's what it is, by additional content creators. Now, here's the thing. Everyone's interest and influence in doing these types of reviews, table down, face to face, I mean, everybody has something different. If you go to Minimalist EDC, I think it is, he does a lot of face to face stuff and then does some table down. He likes to engage with you that way, and it's not that I don't. I just feel like most of the time when I'm doing these reviews, I feel like as a consumer, what your focus is on the product. Now, does that mean you don't want to have a relationship with me if you continuously check in for the content? No. And I do plan on doing some stuff where I can get back in front of the camera interacting with you guys. Today's not going to be that day. I'm literally, it got bedhead and everything because I'm cleaning the house and doing these videos while I'm waiting for some laundry to go. So I am totally multitasking today for this video. So I'm not really presentable. Not that I'm that type of guy, but I definitely don't want you guys thinking like I just don't care. So getting back to my point, I don't understand the point of being threatened. This is the Kershaw Skyline, by the way. This is a fantastic value because it's 20 CV for 99 bucks. Phosphor bronze washers with JG10 handles. Not the best pocket clip in the world, but it is tip up or tip down. And it is super thin a la bug out. So this has been a very interesting carry that I've been carrying for the last few days. You will probably see this up on the channel soon if it hasn't already come up. I did have to tune the detemp because it was a little light, a little easy to fail, but it just took just a hint of tuning to get this to work really nicely. Very interesting US buy here with 20 CV. Thought that was awesome. The other thing that came to mind when I thought about the fact that there's content creators out there that are not happy with all these new channels is they are possibly jealous and worried that they're going to be surpassed. But the thing is, if you focus on your content and you're confident in your content and you're putting in a good effort, even if you're not good at doing edits or anything like that, if you're putting good effort into the information that you're giving back on the content that you're creating, I think people appreciate that. I think the edits are nice, and it's good because it makes the channel look clean, a little bit more aesthetic. You know, presentation is part of this game. But I think if you're doing a really good job educating people on steels, types of knives, handle materials, pivot, action, all of that stuff, it goes a long way. People appreciate that. And most of the time, people are either looking to be informed before they make a purchase, or they're looking for affirmation. They want to know that they bought something that a content creator or YouTuber agrees with, that is a good buy for them. They don't want to feel buyer's remorse. I've had it happen. I got 2 crap originals from Kaiser's, and you guys let me know in the comments, yours was really nice, you did not have the same experience as me, that you really love the knife, that you disagree with me. And that's really good, because I hope people that don't agree with me looked in the comment section and saw all of the feedback of the fact that everyone felt like I was just super unlucky and got 2 bad examples. And I really am hanging on to that green one, and I'm trying to love it, but it's just so awful, guys. It is awful. It's smushy. Doesn't feel good as any of the Civivi button locks that I have, and I've had 4 of them now. Doesn't feel anywhere close to the performance of the ProTech Malibu. I mean, it's just really shit. I'm sorry to say that, but mine is shit. And it upsets me. It really upsets me, because I wanted to like it. I even bought a second one at the recommendation of people telling me that I just got really unlucky when I bought the first one, the black. And it's just so bad. It is so bad. But again, I acknowledge the fact that there is the possibility that I just got super unlucky twice and that I bought 2 bad ones. But I can't recommend the knife off of my examples. But I do encourage anyone that wants to look at that video in my library to read the comments and the feedback. I even had one dude, which I don't understand why, but he bought 3 Altus and he bought 3 originals, and all 3 of the originals, according to him, are substantially better than the Altuses that he got. That his all 3 of his Altus models were crap and didn't perform well and had lock sticks. So that's a prime example right there, where there's going to be different experience from different consumers and the products that they're getting. I'm not quite sure why I wouldn't buy 3 of one kind, but I guess because to me, picking the one that I want and having one of them is enough for me. I think that's probably someone that's truly a collector and just wants to collect them all and have them all. I'm not that type of guy. A couple of times I got really excited about a knife and bought them a couple times, but then a few months later I ended up selling them and unloading them. But anyway, back to my point here. You really shouldn't feel threatened. First, I think the knife community is a very loyal community. If they subscribe to you first, they are going to stay loyal to you because they've been watching your content longer. They're familiar with you. They've developed a relationship with you. No one's going to steal your viewership away unless you stop putting forth effort. They're going to be appreciative of your effort, and they're going to be appreciative of the fact that you're uploading once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever it is, whatever your volume is. They're going to be appreciative of that. You do not need to feel threatened by others' success. In fact, I would double down on the fact that, again, when these other creators are successful, that success is going to translate to you. Because if they're doing a good job, which they probably are, it's not just how long they've been doing it. They clearly are doing a good job. They're finding things that are working. And that's stuff that you should try to implement. I would say necessarily rip off or copy, but try to emulate, try to make it a part of your personality combined with what they're doing to produce success. And draw people in. Let them see your other content. Let them see what it is that you're doing with your channel and let them decide. I guarantee you it is going to draw more people in, and they're going to look for other channels to subscribe to. Just focus on your channel and your content and what you're making, and that is what's going to bring the people in if that's what your interest is. If your interest is growing the channel, do it consistently, upload consistently, bring it daily, bring it twice a week. It doesn't have to always be the same day, but if you do I'm telling you, that's going to make a difference. When I first started out, I was loading it every Sunday. I couldn't do it every day, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to get any traction. So then I started doing it 2 days a week, but I did it the same 2 days a week so people would know when to look for that. Then when it got to a point where I was really getting into all of the EDC gear, not just the pocket knives, but I still do multi-tools. I am always on the lookout for different multi-tools. I actually have my eyes on some multi-tools because I think that is awesome. I think that's another big piece that people don't cover. They talk about these pocket knives, but I think a lot of people like companion gear, like Swiss Army knives, like multi-tools, like the SOG Power Pint that fit in pocket. I think the organizers and how to carry all of this gear is also a big part of it that we don't cover as much as content creators. And I say look at Taylor Martin's channel because he does a lot of that. He talks about all of the EDC gear, and he by far is one of the largest channels out there. And he'll tell you his old content is not nearly as good as his because he kept pushing, he kept trying to learn, trying to get better. His editing is better, but he doesn't put content out daily. So there's the two types, right? There's the type that's going to give you a higher quality of content, but you're not going to get it as often, and you're going to have that group that's going to want and crave to see as much of your content as possible. So you have to decide where the balance is. For me, tabletop down, good content, making sure that I'm giving you guys nice views of the product, talking about the product and making it about the product as opposed to the production is where I've chosen to land right now. Does that mean I don't want to give you the best possible video experience during this review? Absolutely not. I want it to be a very good blend. I want to be able to talk clearly, make clear and concise points about the product, what I like about it, what I don't, and just help you either reaffirm goodbye or reaffirm, yeah, this is definitely one you should check out. Like, this one is really resonating with me, and here's why. And if it's not, why didn't it? And if that's not something that bothers you, I've had people tell me I'm way too wild about the Civivi pocket clips, and I get that. It isn't that big a deal. It isn't that big a deal in the bigger picture. It has great steel, great action, very good value. I mean, I think that's what it boils down to if you're looking at a Civivi, a CJRB, Kaiser. It's just solid build and solid materials for the money. I think that's where you got to figure out for your channel what works. And just because you've been doing something that's worked for a long time doesn't mean that you should just stick with that. I am constantly trying to do different things to see how many views I can get. And I know the YouTube algorithm plays a part in that, but I'm certainly not jealous of other creators. I like looking at smaller channels. They're so different from what I do. I do not feel threatened. I actually wish them the best and most success. I really do. I have subscribed to so many newer, smaller channels that I've recently discovered or heard other people talking about checking out, and I really appreciate it. There's just different perspective about it, and I really love to hear and see that because it makes me pause and think, and I appreciate that. And I know not everybody's about that. Some people just want to tune in, learn about, is this a good buy or not? Should I pick this up or not? Why or why not? And I think that's fine, and I do cover that in my video, but I try to make sure that I give a little bit more to folks that tune in regularly because I appreciate that, and I want to put in the effort to give them what they want from the relationship with me and my channel. But anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I know this is a little bit different. I don't typically talk about other creators' content, and that's not because of one reason or the other. That's just because I try to focus on my channel, but I do listen. I listen to what they're saying, what's going on, and I keep all of that in mind. I'm definitely one that tries, I'm not an innovator by any means, but I definitely try to take everything that I've seen and learned and incorporate it and use it in my own way, right? To have my own style. And does some of it overlap? Yeah, there's only so much you can do with a tabletop review of a pocket knife. I mean, so you're going to have overlap. There's things I've seen other people doing that I found out about later that I had been doing the entire year that I've had the channel, not realizing at all that someone else was already doing it, thinking like, hey, all right, I incorporated my style and I'm doing something different. And then later I found out, hey man, there's this channel out here that has 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers. They've been doing that for a while. And I'm like, oh man, didn't realize it. Because there's only so much you can do. There's only so many different ways that you can style it to your own. And that's where the personality with you comes into play. And you know, I'm a certain type of person. I'm definitely not a pick on, tease on people in my comments, or, you know, lack of education, or, you know, misunderstanding, things of that nature. That happens. I like to have people that know, or try myself to do, like from an education perspective, to teach people right from wrong, understand that I might have gotten it wrong myself, that I want to learn right, and know that I want to make sure that I have educated and armed myself as much as possible. But there's so much out there to learn. I certainly do not have it all figured out. All I can tell you is my perspective of a tool, of a steel, and really just hope that helps you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment your thoughts below. What do you think about the fact that bigger channels are potentially, from what I've heard and seen, feeling threatened by newer, younger channels? And do you agree? Do you feel like they actually are paving the way, and the more channels that are doing good content and creating good videos for people to tune into is a good thing, that it helps everyone in the end? I'd be curious to see what you all think. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, do me a favor, leave a like. It does help me with the channel. If you are enjoying the content, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along. I appreciate all the support for everyone out there that is already subscribed. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.